BWOne here at BWOne.com. And I want to talk about the iPhone 4 press conference that happened today, the Apple press conference that happened today, discussing about the iPhone 4 and sort of Antennagate, as they like to call it at the press conference here, and some of the things that came out of it. I got some notes here right in front of me, so if you see me kind of staring, kind of weird, I'm looking at a piece of paper in front of me going over some of the stuff. To cover a couple of things here, the first thing obviously is what they're doing to solve the issue, which is basically give away free cases to everybody. That's pretty cool. They're giving away free cases up till September 30th. And if you already bought a case, you can send it into Apple, so I can send your receipt into Apple and somehow get a rebate check back or your money back for paying for that case. That's pretty cool. That does hurt a lot of accessory manufacturers, though, especially ones that make cases, because now, you know, now instead of buying a case, you're going to get one for free, so why would you look at another case? So that's going to hurt them profitable-wise, even for the next couple of months or so. Even though it's a couple of months, it's still going to hurt them a little bit. It's all the way up until September 30th that Apple's still going to be giving away those free cases. Like I said, that's pretty nice, but what I kind of see here, I still see that the problem is that Apple is still essentially selling you a flawed product and giving you something outside of the core product to fix it, rather than actually fixing the internal issue, which I'm sure they're doing as they're manufacturing new iPhones, trying to figure out what that problem is, fixing that problem within there, so that in the future when they sell new iPhones, you're not going to have that, iPhone 4s, you're not going to have that problem. But they're essentially saying, okay, yeah, we'll sell you this flawed product for this amount, and then we're going to give you this free case that's outside of that product that you have to use so that you make sure you don't have this issue. Now, not everybody has this issue, but there's enough people complaining about it, obviously, that this issue is a bit of concern. You know, that's kind of, you know, weird, considering that, you know, accessories really should be an option. It shouldn't be necessary. You shouldn't have to buy the iPhone and then have to get a case, even if it's free, have to use this case to make sure your reception stays good when you've already spent a good amount of money on the core part of the product. Accessories are supposed to be an option, not a requirement, you know, especially ones that are outside of the core part of the product. So I found that to be disappointing that Apple sort of want to have some type of swap in, swap out program once they've kind of fixed the actual problem and started manufacturing new ones. It might be some time before they can do that, but at the same time, that's sort of the way it kind of looks right now. They're selling you a flawed product. Not saying that everything's wrong with the iPhone, because it still works well. It's just that they're selling you something with a flaw in it, and they're essentially saying, well, we can't mechanically fix the flaw yet, so we'll just give you the case. And not, you know, it just seems a little awkward there. But another thing that I found kind of odd out of it was that they started to say, well, all smartphones suck apparently when it comes to reception. So they brought out a Blackberry 9700, which is a Blackberry Bold on Verizon, and the Omnia II, which is also on Verizon. So it's very interesting they brought out two Verizon phones to do this. And, you know, I found that a little suspect. So I wouldn't buy into that too much, how that kind of came out. I mean, every phone has issues with reception, obviously, but you know, they'll have the issues here and there. Some work better than others. Some don't have any issues at all. Some do. You know, that's all, you know, all fine and dandy. But to sort of try and say, well, all of them have it, when the focus is kind of on you, it's a little, you know, that's a little awkward. I would think, just, you know, especially using two Verizon phones, which obviously were. They tried to change it to the 9700. With, if you look that up, it's going to come as a Blackberry Bold for Verizon. So we already know what you're doing there, Apple and AT&T. Man, not cool. And I didn't expect to recall a swap or anything like that, because obviously I think if you did a recall right now, that's going to affect their stock prices, which they're mainly focused about. You know, I'm not saying that they don't care about consumers, but I felt like this press conference, everything that was coming out of it, everything that I've kind of read and kind of seen from it, seems very more focused at the investors themselves and telling them exactly what they're going to do. It felt very investor heavy and not really consumer oriented. As the consumer is getting something out of it, they're getting free cases, they're getting a solution, but it just seems like everything that they were saying out of it, everything with the focus on the other smartphones that have issues with reception, to the drop calls and all these other extra things here, felt very investor related and not really consumer oriented, you know, content. So you know, when you think about it, it's really interesting that this has not been a smooth launch for Apple at all. Very un-Apple-like them. Not only did you have this problem with the antenna here with the iPhone 4, then they had the whole problems with Gizmodo a few months back with how the phone got leaked and everything that transpired from that. So this has not been a very smooth launch from them. So it's going to be interesting to see where they pick up from here to make sure they keep steamrolling along, or if the consumer kind of comes back a little bit on them. It'd be interesting. I predict, you know, it probably won't come back that badly, because a lot of A lot of people love Apple products, so I'm pretty sure that they're still going to sell well. But there'll be those on the fence people that might not necessarily now go over hearing what's kind of transpired out of this. And, other handset manufacturers can take advantage of this. We already seen Nokia kind of joke on them earlier, so we'll see, if other handset manufacturers can come in and kind of sweep over those consumers that were kind of on the fence and kind of can, see if they can pull them over to their side or if they still go over to Apple. So it'll be interesting how all this transpires out. So I want to obviously know your thoughts here. So just post a comment here, post a YouTube video. What are your thoughts on this whole iPhone 4 sort of Antennagate fiasco that's been going on here? So post your comments, thoughts, concerns, share the video along. And this is BWOne here from BWOne.com, reminding you to live your tech world in high definition.